If you're still trying to pick your jaw up off the floor after the latest events in Emmerdale, trust me, you are not alone. It feels like the entire village, and all of us watching at home, are collectively holding our breath, reeling from a chain of events so dark and twisted it's hard to know where to even begin. We gather round our screens for drama, for passion, and for the occasional barn fire, but what has unfolded between John Subden and Erin Dingle is a different level of heartbreak altogether. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we invite into our homes, the ones we love. For weeks, something about John Subden just hasn't sat right, has it? He came into the village as this charming, heroic ex-army medic, a knight in shining armor for our beloved Erin. But underneath that calm exterior, a darkness was brewing, a web of lies so intricate and horrifying that even now, it's hard to comprehend the full extent of his depravity. It all started with whispers and shadows, didn't it? The tragic, accidental death of Nate Robinson was the first domino to fall. John, in his twisted hero complex, believed he could save the situation, but instead he ended up with blood on his hands. He then masterfully framed an innocent man, Owen, with a carefully forged suicide note, and we all watched, uneasy, as he seemingly got away with it. But secrets in a village like Emmerdale have a shelf life shorter than a pint of milk in the woolpack. Poor Mackenzie Boyd was the next to get tangled in John's sinister web. He stumbled upon a clue, a simple photograph linking John to Nate's disappearance, and just like that, his life was forfeit. What followed was pure horror. A terrifying chase through the woods, a crossbow bolt finding its mark, and Mac, presumed dead, was actually being held captive in a desolate underground bunker. It's the stuff of nightmares. And all the while, Erin, bless his heart, was starting to feel that cold knot of dread in his stomach that we all know too well. The man he married was becoming a stranger. The erratic behavior, the constant disappearances, and then the chilling discovery that John was drugging him, trying to keep him docile and compliant. The final horrifying piece of the puzzle clicked into place when Erin found Mac's phone. The truth was out, and it was more terrifying than he could have ever imagined. This is what led us to that cliff edge, to that windswept, desolate gorge that will now forever be a scar on the landscape of the Dales. Can you even imagine the terror and betrayal coursing through Erin as he confronted the man he loved? As John, with the mask fully stripped away, confessed to everything, the killing, the kidnapping, the lies. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Robert Subden arrives. John's jealousy, a vile and possessive thing, tripled in an instant. With the chilling words, "If I can't have you, no one can," he made a staged, frantic call to the police, perfectly framing Robert for the horror he was about to unleash. And then he leaped, dragging a screaming Erin over the edge with him into the abyss below. That single moment was one of the most shocking in recent Emmerdale history. The fall didn't kill them, but it plunged them, and everyone who loves them, into a new kind of hell. At the hospital, the news was bleak. Both men had suffered major trauma, but it was Erin who was in the fight of his life. He was rushed into surgery, suffered a cardiac arrest, and with a bleed on his brain, doctors had no choice but to place him in an induced coma. While Erin lay lifeless, John, ever the manipulator, played the victim, and Robert was arrested for attempted murder, his desperate pleas of innocence falling on the deaf ears of his own sister and a grieving Chas. It was a masterclass in cruelty from John, who even stood by Erin's bedside and contemplated finishing the job, silencing him forever. But our Erin is a fighter. He has been through more than any one person should ever have to endure, and he wasn't about to be silenced by the monster he once called his husband. The collective sigh of relief from fans everywhere was almost audible when he finally woke up. And his first words, they were the key to unlocking everything. John's got Mackenzie. In that moment, the house of cards that John had so carefully constructed came tumbling down. Realizing the game was up, the coward did what cowards do, he ran. With a bewildered Kane Dingle at the wheel, John fled the hospital, leaving a trail of destruction and broken hearts in his wake. Now, the village is left to pick up the pieces. Kane is spiraling, drowning in guilt over failing to get justice for his son Nate. Victoria is grappling with the horrifying realization that she believed a monster over her own brother. And Erin, our resilient Erin, is facing the long, painful road to recovery, both physically and emotionally. How do you even begin to heal from a betrayal that deep? The story is far from over. John Sugden is still out there, a shadow lingering over the Dales. We can only hope for a final showdown, for the justice that Nate, Mac, and especially Aaron so richly deserve. Until then, we'll be right here, glued to our screens, our hearts aching for the characters we've come to love as our own. This isn't just a storyline, it's an emotional roller coaster, and we're all strapped in for the ride. What do you think will happen next? Will Kane track John down? Can Aaron and Robert find their way back to each other after this? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We need to talk about this.